Hello, you join me here on RK Leisure's Horton complex. It's a complex I've had a ticket for. This is my third season now, and it's been kind to me, to be fair. We're on Kingsmead Island Lake at the minute, which is a nice big body of water. Today we're talking about some rigs that I've been using over the complex. This one here is probably my favourite. I actually call it the Horton Rig. It's developed onwards over the years from a simple bottom bait hair rig to this. This is the way it's evolved to, so to speak. But you always team it with an inline lead system. That's for two reasons. One, because it's very weedy out here, I want the lead to drop off. And secondly is I prefer the hooking mechanics of inline leads. Lead clips, it's not instant. If your lead clip is sitting round a bit and the fish picks up your hook bait, potentially if the lead is pointing towards the fish, there's 2 to 3 inches of movement before it'll even feel the lead. With this it's instant, and that's what I'm looking for in all my rigs: instant rig mechanics and hooking potential. We get to this point here. It's a normal drop-off system, but I do have the addition of a Q-ring to the swivel that enters the lead, and then onto that I have a quick lock swivel for quick and easy bait attachment. The reason I have that extra point is just a pivot point. No matter what, especially when you're dropping from the boat, leads tend to land nose down. If your rig's attached to the first swivel that's entering the lead, potentially it can be sitting a bit wonky. That just gives me an extra little pivot point and gives me that freedom to know it's going to be lying flat and fishing effectively. I'll talk you first through the components of the rig. I've got a length of 25-pound ultra skin. It comes down here. You can see I've got a covert hooker liner. I've got a size 4 barbed mugger on here. It's barbed only on these lakes because it's so weedy and it can cause more mouth damage without that. I also have a mini rig swivel and a hook bait attached with some 6mm rig foam inside. Okay, then we'll talk about how you tie it. Okay, so you take 20 inches. Even though we're going to end up with a 7-inch rig, we need 20 inches of material. What we do then is half of that, 10 inches, we strip back. I know it seems a lot to strip back, but trust me, you're going to need it to create this enhanced D down the bottom and get all this whipping in the correct position. Once you've took that, you've stripped that section down, you form a little loop with about a 2-inch tag, which you then pass through the front of the mugger. You hold that to this position here and you take a small mini rig swivel. These are important to use a small swivel here, otherwise a size 8 swivel is just too heavy in your bait and you won't get the balance you need and you'll struggle to get it to sit up unless you use something very, very buoyant. From there, you then, once you've added the swivel, you take the loop that you created and you pull it and take it over the point of the hook. You then pull the loop up that you've brought over and you put it level with, or just under, the barb of the hook. Now I know you're looking at that thinking that's very low down, and it is, but trust me, by the time you've tightened this down and you've got your D working effectively, it will slip up, it will finish perfectly level with your hook point, which is what you want. From there, once you've got that in the correct position, you need to start doing your normal knotless knot whipping. Take it around, start whipping it down, and you're going to whip all the way down to just above the barb. So you're sort of like 3mm, 4mm below the point. Once you've done that there and you've whipped it all the way down, you then start to whip up. Now the turns up and only if really used to slightly lock it off and to also dictate your length of your supple section, which allows your hook to turn, obviously. I like about 2 inches or just over 2 inches of suppleness, so I'll whip up until I'm left with just 2 inches. Once I'm happy I'll have the right length when I take it through the eye, I'll finish the knotless knot, pull it down through the eye, and there we go. From there you've now got your section, your covered section, and you need to add on your covert hooker liner. Dampen the material down a little bit just to help it to slide down. Slide it all the way down the length and pull it till it finishes in about that position, and you've got probably 4mm of it overhanging, which is just lining it up and also invariably extending the shank of the hook. From there, once you've did that, just a simple figure 8 loop knot at the top, slide on a little covert anti-tangle sleeve, and that's that done. This rig then, when, why and how do I use it? As I said before, I like to see the spots that I'm fishing when I'm using this rig to ensure that it's lying nice and straight. I don't like it bolt straight. I in fact like to manufacture it so I've got a little turn just in it, just almost like an angle, which is obviously in everyone's everyday fishing, it's not going to be possible to see that. But on the island where I've got the boat, if I've got the chance to up my catch rate by doing things, I'll do it. I go out there after I've placed the rig and I'll fiddle with the line lay, I'll prod my lead into the dirt, I'll get everything pinned down and get it all looking pucker. Once it's down as well, on the bottom, this end here is where it's all about. How this actually sits is off the rig swivel with your bait like this, because it's buoyant, it sits directly above the hook. When it's directly above the hook, the second the hook bait is lifted, the hook is turning. It also masks your hook point. So even if, like here, I've got a size 4 hook, with an 18mm drill bait hovering over the top, they ain't seeing anything from that sort of like overview if it was to bother them. Just to make sure, I had a little PVA bag of crumb, just to protect the hook point when I'm laying it down on the bottom. And that's it. Obviously I've got a rig swivel here. The benefits I've just discussed with it, how it's sitting directly above. The other benefits here, over a hair, you never have to change your hair length. It sits, regardless if you want to use a small 10mm bait or you want to use two 25mm baits. It's just dictated by the length of the floss you tie on. You then pull the hook bait halfway down the swivel and you've always got exactly the same separation between your hook and your bait, which is important, which you can't always guarantee with a hair. The other good thing about it being on a swivel is the fact under light vortex in feeding conditions, maybe 1 kg fish in there, because it can pivot and swivel on 360 degrees, under slight vortex when the fish is moving, it will just turn gently and it'll behave a little bit more natural. When it's attached to a hair, even under light vortex, and try it, you'll see it jumps, it makes your hook jump, it doesn't behave naturally. That's pretty much it. It's a rig I call the Horton Rig. It's something that has done me proud. There's been a lot of effort gone into this. But yeah, with the right bait application, all your rig mechanics are there. You haven't got to worry about that. Just worry about picking up your rod and netting them fish.